Dawson Rider Reviews. Hey YouTube, Dawson Rider here with a review of S.H.Figuarts Kamen Rider Abyss from Kamen Rider Decade. So that might be confusing for some people, I guess, if you don't know anything. Abyss is a Ryuki rider, but he is actually from Decade. He was exclusive to Decade as a Ryuki rider from Ryuki's World in Decade, so he did not appear in the actual Ryuki series at all. We've been waiting for some sort of figure for this for quite a bit, obviously, because it's been a while since Decade. And I was actually pleasantly surprised that not only we're getting him, but that he was retail release. So now I guess we'll see if he is worth it. Quick look at the box, pretty much in line with the Ryuki figures. You got a picture of him down here, this sort of cracked mirror effect all throughout. This is Kamen Rider Abyss down here, obviously, except it says masked, but I just like to rather keep it common. And then it's got the Decade logo down there, just his name on the sides and top. And on the back you've got the mirror effect yet again, and it just shows all the stuff you can do with him. Not a whole lot going on. He does come with a decent amount of stuff. Obviously you've got the typical hands, and he's in a very generic pose right now, I know. You got the closed fists, which are on him at the moment. Various opened hands, holding card hands, holding weapon hands. He gets a little pouch of cards like all the rest. I'm sorry I do not take them out in these reviews because I have had problems losing them in the past, but you know that comes with it. You get two swords here, which are really cool looking for sword vent, which, like I said, they're very neat. I think they're pretty awesome looking. They're pretty basic. They're just black and silver, but the paint on them has a nice shine to them, and I think the designs of them are really neat. So yeah, that's cool. And then you've got his... This is basically like what Ryuki has on his arm, but for him, this will go on his arm. It's very nicely detailed. It's like looks like a shark torpedo that he just attaches to his arm. You can see that there's a little hole. I will place that on him in a moment. And then you get one for the other side, which is for his advent, which is another shark, which is pretty basic. It's primarily silver on the bottom, well, actually only silver, and then you've got sort of green paint on top. This one also goes on the opposite arm, which is this one. So I will be putting those on briefly. So yeah, taking a look at him, he looks pretty neat. I've always been a big fan of his design. I just love the shark motif. I think it was really neat. And one thing that was immediately apparent to me upon looking at him in and outside of packaging is that the paint job looks really nice. It's this really nice light blue that really shines great on this figure, and it makes it look a lot like an armor, which I think is very, very well done. I think they did a fantastic job on the overall color of him. The head sculpt here is well done, like usual with these Ryuki figures. Very nicely detailed, you can see there. Pretty awesome, as far as I can tell, in proportion. It's been a while since I've seen the show, which is actually a point I'm going to be making about proportion in a minute. But anyway, nicely detailed. Same thing on the armor here. You can see the sort of shine of the color up close, which looks really nice. But then here you can see the details there. On the shoulder pads here, just very nicely done. You got his Advent deck right there. Did they call them Advent decks in Ryuki, or is that just a Dragon Knight thing? I don't know. But they do come out like usual, which is neat. As you can see, very nice attention to detail here. And even like underneath here, you got color details like on his underside, which is something a lot of the Ryuki riders don't have because it's just kind of blank. But very, very nicely done. Check out the back. Articulation-wise, it's pretty much what you've come to expect from Ryuki figures and Figuarts in general. You have a 360 ball joint right here. There is a slight bit of hindrance by this shoulder pad hitting this shoulder pad, but nothing to write home about. Single elbow joint here, or double elbow joint, I'm sorry, here. Swiveling at the arm, swiveling here at the fist, a nice ball joint. You've got waist and chest articulation. The chest articulation is a little less apparent because of the solid armor piece. 360 ball joint here, swiveling at the leg, double knee joint, swiveling here at the foot. You got a nice little joint here to get some round movement, and the toe action joint. And then obviously the head is well articulated. You can get it around 360 creepy. It's a little more difficult to do because of his neck pad and some up and down solid movement. So pretty typical. And for the most part, like all Ryuki molds, he is solid. The only problem I have is he's a little loose at the waist, which is the first Ryuki figure loose joint I've had, but that is really the only piece that's a little loose, and it's not like he's falling over when I'm posing him. It's really only if I gently move him. But other than that, he's very solid, just like all other Ryuki figures. And I think it's funny that in this month's shipment, this figure came with Wizard Infinity, which are sort of the two spectrums of figure arts quality in terms of Kamen Rider figures, because the Ryuki ones are all very well done. The paint's done nicely. They have a solid amount of accessories. When you hold them, you feel like you're holding a very solid figure and you're getting your money's worth, as opposed to the Wizard figures, which haven't been that great, and they always feel kind of cheap and really light. And I guess there's some figures that are heavier and lighter, but it's just kind of funny, the stark contrast in quality. Other than that loose joint, the only other nitpick I really have is that I feel like the Ryuki mold is a little tall and lanky for him, but like I said, I haven't seen the show in a while, so I can't remember his proportions exactly, but I just feel like he's a little tall around the waist, if that makes any sense. But that's really a minor nitpick with this one. It's this sorry about that. With this figure, it's nothing, no real major complaints. It's more just like tiny nitpicks, like the slightly loose waist and the bit of a slender waist, which could just be me, honestly. And I really wouldn't expect them to completely make a new mold that would be more like short around the waist just for one figure. So anyhow, it's very simple to put on his arm pieces. You just take off his hand here and slide this in here, and it kind of lines up over the, the little ports he has here. And this is pretty much supposed to be on him. And it opens up down here so he can put in cards, and that's pretty much a main feature of him. Like I said, you can put on the other one for if he does Advent, get another double shark thing going. It looks like, honestly to me, that box is going to fall over. I don't know if you saw that coming. But I did, that he's like going to put on a puppet show for you. Like he's going to have these guys do a puppet show. That's what it looks like to me. But yeah, that's pretty neat. They stay on very secure. They're very easy to get on, which is nice. So yeah, overall, I'm very pleased with Abyss. I was pretty excited actually for this figure just because I really dug his design in Decade and I always wanted a figure for it. And as I said here at the beginning, I was pleasantly surprised that we got an exclusive, or a retail release as opposed to an exclusive for him. So yeah, I really dig him. I think he's a solid figure. There's some minor problems with him, but nothing I really can't look over for having a figure of Abyss finally. I think if you are a fan of his design or Decade, I can definitely recommend him. I think he's a very solid figure. The blue paint on him looks amazing. He's a very solid figure, and he's just overall very, very decent. I really dig him. If I could get him to stand now, that would be great, so we can just do this puppet show later. So yeah, anyway, until next time, make sure you check out the Crazy Podcast at RidersRangersandRambles.com. Until next time, Dawson Rider, signing out, not signing out.